Hello and welcome back. We keep on working on our tag album. In the previous part of this tutorial, I showed you how to assemble the pocket tag page, and that's the first one that I have right here. I want to mention that in the video preview of the project, I had this as my second page. And it's just a collage of elements. This page doesn't have any pockets, but in the kit, I actually decided to have a pocket, and that's the pocket which will be glued down to our first pocket page in the back of it. And then this tag will go inside. This tag, as you can see, has the same elements, or almost the same, as the one that I had in the preview. And by the way, you can see that the shade of the paper here is a little bit different, because in my first demo project I used ivory cardstock, and in my current tag album I'm just using plain white. So the shades of the images are a little bit different. I thought I will try and do that. I think they both look great, and it's just a matter of your preference. How do you want them to be? So I actually like both. It's hard for me to choose. So yeah, going back to the pages, I went ahead and glued down the remaining 4 pocket tag pages that I had. Here they are. Let me show them to you. So on this one, I have added the belly band. Let's put it in order. Then my next page was this, and I have glued down this curved pocket in the corner. And on the back, I have this kind of pocket. Then the next page was this one with the rose. I didn't glue any pockets to it just yet. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And then the last pocket page was this neutral one, and I have glued down this pocket at the bottom of the page right here. This will be our last album page. So now I want to first of all show you that I have put in this matting tag piece that will go to the inside of the back cover. I have prepared that folded envelope, and I'm going to add this loan card in here as well. And then I have this library card with a leaf that I have just stapled to the page like so. So these are the elements that I'm going to put right in here. And then for the matting piece that will be on the inside of the front cover, I have also prepared this rounded tag, and I have just added some craft cardstock to the back of it and added the hole reinforcer. Now, these hole reinforcers were just simple white reinforcers, the Avery brand ones. And to make them gold, I just used the Deco Color gold pen. I think that we could just work on each and every page one by one, so that we keep everything organized. And as we go, I will explain to you how to assemble this or that tag or this or that frame, and which elements I planned to glue to each one of the pages. Okay, and before that, you remember that by the end of the previous part of the tutorial, we had to correct a mistake in the length of the binding. So we did that, but we also need to correct this mark that we have sketched with a pencil on it. So I'm going to shorten my strip template that I have right here. The new length should be 5 5/8 of an inch, so that it matches the height of our binding. So I'm going to use a pencil and first of all erase the marks that we had there before. And I will now fold my new template in half and create the new marks on the binding. Okay, just the same way as I already showed you how to do. Just that mark needs to be in a new place since we shortened the piece that we're going to use for the binding. So these are going to be the new marks. I'm going to use a wet glue for attaching my pages to the binding. You are welcome to use squirt tape if you want to. Before I apply the glue, I actually just want to make sure that every pocket page is sliding on top of the hinge. So the first one is okay. And what I will do now is I will add the glue to this first hinge, and we will need to do that on both sides of the hinge. Make sure that you don't apply the glue to the gusset that will be between the pocket pages. And now when I'm sliding the hinge inside the tag, I just want to make sure that I go only up to the fold. So if you do it like that, it will be way easier. The tag will stop at the place where it needs to. Okay, now this tag is mounted on top of the hinge and we have our first page. So in the same way, I'm going to attach the rest of the pages, and every time I just want to make sure that my tag fits nicely. Okay, so let's apply glue to the hinge. We'll do one more page together and then I will speed up the process of attaching the remaining 3 pages. Okay, applying the glue. And now I am going to slide this page on top of the hinge like that. I make sure that I go right up to the bottom corner here so that all of the tags are at the same sort of level. And now here you might want, once your page is already mounted onto the hinge, you might want to add just a little bead of glue and seal that snipped corner down, just like so. So in the very same way, I'm going now to attach the remaining 3 pages and get back to you. All of my pages are glued down to the binding, and this is what we have. So we will keep on working with the pages and attach some of the remaining pockets to them now. We have our first pocket here. We have our second pocket right there and a belly band. Here we need to add a pocket, and I have it right here. It has already been folded. The flaps, I mean, were folded. So what I want to do is I want to first of all get rid of those little paper pieces here on the flaps. And then we need to take care of this opening. I'm going to use my 3/4 inch circle punch, and like we already did on the belly band, here I'm going to punch out 2 circles on the sides. I have this flap folded, otherwise I can't reach. So I'm going to punch out 2 of these circles on the sides. And now I'm going to cut the remaining section off. And then I will add the tracing paper or vellum, whichever you have. We have our pocket, which now can be glued down to the page. And as you can see, if you fold the flaps, I think on the green background it will be better seen. You see those parts of the flaps that show in the opening. So I think I'm just going to cut them off. So I will first mark with a pencil where exactly I need to trim the paper, and then I will cut them like so. I don't like when they're showing. So right now, yeah, you can see that they will not be visible from the front of the pocket. So let's add just 2 drops of glue on the sides so that we can keep all the flaps together. And then we will add the glue to the rest of the flaps and glue this pocket down onto the page. Like so. You will just need to center it because it's a little bit smaller than the base page. Use your bone folders for burnishing the folds on top. And this is our pocket glued down. I like the look of it. On this page we already have a pocket attached. Let's see what we need to do on the next page. Here we also have a pocket. Now, as far as the pockets on this page are concerned, we have a pocket with another opening, and that's the pocket that we're going to glue down right here. First of all, you can see again that we will need to trim some of that paper from the flaps in the back. So I have already marked with a pencil where I need to cut. And now I need to prepare a piece of acetate for covering the opening. So I have a piece of acetate right here, and I am going to use my Sharpie marker. I will put the acetate piece on top of that opening, and then I will sketch about 1/4 of an inch around the opening with my Sharpie right on top of the acetate. Just like that. And I will use my scissors and cut a circle. It doesn't have to be of a perfect circular shape because it will be in the back and it will not be visible. And as you can see, while I cut the circle out, I also try to get rid of that black outline that I sketched with a Sharpie. So now I just need to add the glue around the opening and glue my circle on top. This is our pocket. I actually think that this specific one will be on the flip side of the page, but I have already prepared one for this side too. So once the pocket is ready, I can go ahead and glue it down to my page. Okay, let me show this page to you. Okay, now we will work on the last page. It will have 2 pockets, and you can see that this should be the pocket that will be at the very bottom in terms of the pattern and its continuation. And then we will have another pocket right here. First of all, I will again get rid of those parts of the flaps that I don't want to be visible. Okay, I'm just trying to repeat the shape of this curve on the pocket. Now the side flaps will go under the bottom flap, like so. And then we can glue each one of the tags down to the page. All of our pockets are now attached to the base pages, and this is how it looks so far. We can already glue our binding with all the pages down to our cover and glue down our matting pieces to the insides of the front and back covers as well. So these flaps are 1 1/4 inch wide. Although I have the lines, the horizontal lines on the cover and the marks on the binding to help me find a perfect placement for attaching the binding to the cover, I still want to add more guidelines here. And these guidelines, both on the back cover and on the front one, will be 1 1/4 inch away from the folds on the spine, which are close to the beginning of each one of the covers on either side. I'm going to mark the lines, short lines, 1 1/4 inch away from the fold, and then I will sketch a line there. The same thing I will do on this side. Before I glue this whole piece down, let's trim the corners of the flap as we previously did on this piece, just at a slight angle up to the first score line on the binding, just like that. Okay, I'm not trimming from the gusset, only up to the fold right there. And now I can add my glue to the back of the flap and glue it down to the back cover. So that's the back, that's my flap. I'm going to match this tiny mark on the flap of the binding with the line, the horizontal line that I have on the cover, and I will line up the edge of my flap with the line that I have just created, like so. Okay, and now I will apply the glue to the second flap and glue it down on this side the same way. You might want to hold everything by the rest of the pages, and you might need to make sure that you lift the front cover of your tag album, but the process is the same. You will need to match the mark on the flap with the horizontal line on the cover, and then line up the edge of the flap of the binding with the vertical line on your inside cover in the front. As you can see, for now, I'm not letting go of the rest of the pages while I glue the flaps down to the covers, since the glue is not completely dry yet here in the back, but it will over time. So right now, that's what we have. Our pages have been attached and it looks really nice. I can add my paper piece to the back of the cover. And now I can do the same in the front. Doesn't it look nice? We can put our album aside for now, since we're going to work on the cards and tags that will be added into those pockets that we have created. Let's begin with the large tags that will be placed inside the pocket pages. This one as my first card, and will actually be placed like that. This will be the second. So the tabs, remember the tabs that we have punched out? These are the tabs. Each one of the tabs will be attached to the open edge of the card, like that. But first of all, let's deal with the order of the cards. My third card will be this one with the mushrooms, and then the fourth one will be this. Okay, and then the birds will be added to the fifth page. If you want to have a different order, be my guest, but I'm going to have them arranged like that. And before I glue them down and add my stitching all around, I want to do one more thing. The card with the sunflower and the butterflies has another something that I want to add, and it is this specimens label. I think I will have it somewhere in the center. And then I will poke 2 holes and add the brads to these places. And now I can glue this tag down and put it aside for now. I'm still trying to keep the order of my tags so that you could also refer to it. Now I want to take the first card right here and show you. So on this card, I have added a tiny frame with some acetate, which covers the opening, and it's just for the added interest. You can absolutely leave this card as it is, but for some more dimension, I'm going to do this. So first of all, you will see that the frame can either be positioned like so or like so. Then it matches. So I'm going to add a piece of acetate behind the opening, and as a matter of fact, you can even glue this whole frame down onto the acetate, because I want to add stitching around it so everything will be held down nicely. I'm going to glue this frame down. Now I'm going to glue it down to the paper layer. And I'm going to stitch around 3 edges only here, because later on I'm going to add stitching around the whole card anyway, so that edge will be covered by that stitching. It's ready, and now I can add the flower on top. So let's just make sure that we put it down correctly. Now we can glue it down together. Distress this edge. Before we glue down the red card, I want to add a few things here in the back. So first of all, you will need to find in all of your cut out pieces this frame. As you can see, I already have an opening in it. And then I will use a piece of acetate, which is the same size, or maybe just slightly smaller in my case, as the frame. And I have rounded the corners on the frame. I'm also going to round the corners on the acetate. I'm going to glue the acetate down to the paper layer first. And now I'm going to attach it to the base of the red card. Let's call it like that. I want the bottom of the frame to be maybe at the same level where the number 2 ends here, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to apply the glue just now only at the bottom of the frame. I just need to hold it in place because I'm going to stitch it down to the paper layer. We're going to slide a card in it as well. And this is just a piece of green card that I had on the original tag that I had in my prototype album. I just had a piece of dark green cardstock. This piece measures 2 inches by 4, and I'm going to use my corner chomper for shaping it as a tag. I will also punch a hole at the top and use a hole reinforcer to make this tag look prettier. Now I have this lady here that I'm going to glue down onto the tag, and I also have this label. So I'm going to glue the label first somewhere here, and now I'm going to glue the lady so that, let's see, if we put a tag inside this frame, and we will have the stitching here as well, so the tag should reach up to somewhere here. So the lady will have to be, okay, I think this will be the good placement. Okay, I will trim off part of her dress and glue down the lady onto my tag. Okay, if we need to trim off a bit of her sleeves, we could also do that, but I think it will be fine. So like that, and then this tag will go inside the frame. I think it looks fine. I will of course unfold the card first, and I'm going to stitch around 3 edges of the frame like that. Now the tag will go inside, but before we add the tag, I want to add another little element in here. We have a larger of the coin stamps, so I want to add that one at the top of the frame so that it looks like it's coming out of it. And then here at the bottom, I have smaller of this kind of flowers, and I have a label. So from the label, I want to cut only half. Let's add some ink here. And I want to glue this label at the bottom of the frame, somewhere here. And then add the flower. And now I can glue this together. Okay, so our tags, all 5 of them, are ready. Here are all of them. So we need to attach our tabs to each one of those cards. And these are the colors that I have chosen. This brown tab will be attached to the tag that will go inside this pocket. So I'm going to leave it here for now. And I will start with the orange tab. I'm going to attach this tab at the bottom of this edge. Like that. And now I will take my last card and a blue tab and attach it at the very top. Now when both of these tabs are attached, I will take my middle card and find, okay, I want to have a green one here. Okay, so I will, let's see where it needs to be. Okay, well, something like that. Now we need to add our 4th tab, and it will be of the yellow color. So it will be closer to the top between these 2 tabs. So where it should be, something like that, right? And then we have one last one with the tab that needs to be placed in this area. Next we can go ahead and stitch around each one of those cards and add them to the pocket pages. Once you stitch around all of your cards, you can place them inside the tag pocket pages, and this is how it will look. So the fact that the card sticks just a little bit out of the pocket makes it look as if you have so many pages in the album, and I like this effect, but that's how it will look like. We can add one of the assembled envelopes to one of our belly bands here, and another one to the last page. We also have one smaller envelope in there that we could add to the same pocket like so. Now we need to add the bottles to our pockets on this page, and I have the bottles right here. I have already cut out 3 of them, and I wanted to talk about the 4th bottle. So before you cut around the edges of each one of the bottles, make sure that you double up the cardstock layer behind them. This will make them sturdier, and you know, they will not be super thin, because we want to add some tags to 2 of the bottles here, and we will use thread to tie them down to the bottles. So we want the bottles to have a little bit more heft, and for that I decided to double up the cardstock layer for them. So I'm going to cut out this bottle now. The 2 smaller bottles will go to the top pocket, and the 2 larger bottles will be put in the pocket at the bottom. So to them, we want to first add the tags. This is how I cut my little tags out. I didn't separate them. So now I will just fold them in half and glue them together. Then I will trim the corners. Now I have a tiny punch that will help me punch a hole in each one of these tags. A place for the hole is already marked. I will add the string to each one of the tags. And then I will tie the tags around each one of the bottles. The bottles are ready. You will have in the kit 3 of those cute circles. So I'm going to actually poke a hole in each one of them in the center and add a brad into that hole. And then on this pocket, I will have a few more things. So I have a strawberry and the leaves that I'm going to glue down right here. And then I will add the label to that corner. Now we can put the bottles back, and I want to add these 2 tickets to the pocket as well, just for some pop of color. And then the bottles will go on top like that. So this page is ready. So this is the tag that will go inside this pocket. I have added hole reinforcers to the top. I have punched the hole out first. I have also added the label Explore right there, and added the 6th last tab that we have prepared ahead of time. Now this tag is ready to be stitched around and added to the pocket. You will also need to add eyelets like I did here, of course, if you want to. I'm going to do it a little bit later. This page will have a tag that will look like this, and let's think what we can do with it. I will punch a hole and add the hole reinforcers first of all. Now we already have, I think, enough elements on this side of the tag. On this side, maybe we could do more. And these are the elements that I have decided to add on this side. We have a lady here and the label with the word Harmony. Now I can glue the tag together and stitch around it. I think I will also add a tiny label here in the front of the tag, and then it will be ready to go back to the pocket like so. Okay, next we will work on this page here, and we're going to have a little notebook here. So first of all, for the notebook, you're welcome to prepare any kind of little off-cut pages that you want, or tea stain papers, or whatever. I have here a few medical receipts. By the way, I have those in my Etsy store as well. They are from 1983. And I also have some book page here and more of the graph paper and some really smooth ivory writing paper. So I'm going to first of all give you the measurement for the most of the pages. They need to be 2 3/4 of an inch wide, because that's the width of the notebook front that we have in our printables. And then in terms of height, they will need to be a bit taller than the printable front cover of the notebook. And I think about 1/2 inch taller could be fine. So right now we're going to also prepare a piece of craft cardstock. And this piece of cardstock measures 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. That's the same width of the notebook cover. And as you can see on the long side of this cardstock piece, I have 2 score lines. One is at 1/2 inch from the edge, and then the second one is at 1 inch. I'm going to fold only along the 1 inch score line, this paper piece, like so. Now I'm going to stack those pages nicely so that the bottom edges of them are lined up, and I might even use a paper clip for holding them together. Now you will just add tiny amounts of glue along the top edges of those papers to make sure that they stay together while we work on the next step. Okay, and the next step will be actually to glue down our notebook cover to the craft cardstock paper along that score line that we had, not up to the very bottom, but just up to that 1/2 inch fold, like so. You will need to center it on top of the craft cardstock because it is a little bit wider and the notebook cover is a tiny bit narrower. Okay, now we are going to add our papers to the notebook and hold them together with the cover of the notebook, like so. Clip them again together. Now, maybe we will clip them here. Next, I will use my stapler and add the staples from this side of the cover, like so. Let's just make sure that we flatten the staples down. Okay, now maybe we will need to also trim some of those stacked pages because we need to be able to fold the cover in the back. Let's snip off a bit more of pages in here. Okay, and check again. Yeah, now we are able to fold it. And what we need to do is just to add some glue right here in the back and fold our cardstock on top. And if you want to, you can also straighten the edges by cutting some of them off. This is our notebook that will go into the pocket here. Super cute. I love it. Next we will work with this page, and that's the tag that will go into the curved pocket. I'm going to punch out a hole first and add the reinforcers. Okay, now let's have a look. That's the back of our tag, so we might need additional labels to add to it. I have taken out all of the elements that I'm going to need for making this tag. I think I forgot actually one more of the yellow flowers right here. So we are going to have on this side, we're going to have a bird and one of the yellow flowers, large orange flower, smaller orange flower, this kind of label, and this kind of label. And I think instead of this little label, I will have this one. Then for creating the pen nib, I did the same thing that I did with the bottles. If you remember, I doubled up the layers of cardstock. Now I'm going to cut it out and add ink. Poke a hole here close to the top of the pen nib, and I will add an eyelet. And then I will use a piece of string. This time I'm going to tie another knot somewhere close to the edge of this piece. Something like that. And I already want to add this element to the tag. So let me glue this tiny label down before it gets lost. Okay, so it will be somewhere here. And then I want to string this piece somewhere here. So I'm going to add it to that line of glue that I had. Okay, I can trim the excess of the thread, and when I'm stitching it, I will have this element hanging from the edge of the tag, but it will still be nicely attached with the stitching to it. Okay, so let's assemble this little collage. And now let's move to the reverse side of it. We already have the lady, and I only need to assemble this cluster right here. Tag is also ready to be stitched around. We only need to glue it together before that, of course. Let's add a tiny dot of glue right here and make sure that this pen nib is held in the correct place. Now I'm going to stitch around. And this tag is ready. You can add maybe some more background stamping in this area because it kind of seems empty. So you're welcome to use your stamps, of course, as well. Now here I think I want to add, there was this tiny label. I'm going to add it there. There are a few more things that I want to add onto this pocket it is this tiny label that will go right here, and then another label there. And then onto each page, I was also going to add the letters. Let's have a look. We had the letter A there, so we could add the letter B in here just for fun. We don't have to do that, of course, but everything is for fun. In this corner of the pocket, I want to add a few more elements. So I have this label with the date, and I also have a cut off from the label that we used before. Now I want to add a number to it. I have this numbering machine from Bates. It's actually a pretty vintage one. So I'm going to stamp a number on that label, and then glue both of these elements down like so. And since we got to this page that still doesn't have the tags in the pockets, we are going to take care of it. So we have this double-sided tag that will be put inside the pocket here. And we also need to prepare another tag for the pocket on that side. So that's the tag that will go there. We already have most of the elements attached on this side of the tag, apart from the butterfly that I want to add right here, and also a tiny label with another date. Let me just find it. This is the one. And we also have in our elements this handle, and you will have it twice because we want it to be double-sided. It will be kind of a tab on our tag. So let's start with gluing down the elements onto this tag. Let's flip it to the back side and see what we have. We will need our bird, and we are also going to need a few more things. Let's have a look. I am going now to glue down all of the elements and get back to you. Now I'm going to glue the handle to this side of the tag like so, and flip it to the back side. Add the glue to the inside of the tag, okay, like this, and then add the second part of the handle on top. Just try to match both of them more or less like that. And now we are ready to stitch around, and this tag is ready to go into its dedicated pocket. Now we will work on the tag for this side of the page. It will be this one. Let's punch a hole and add the circle reinforcers. This tag is pretty much full of elements that I wanted to be here, so the only thing that I want to show you is, for example, if you want to have textile label to it. You will do that before, of course, before gluing the tag down together. So for example, I have here a folded piece of cotton fabric, and I am going to glue it down just along the side of this tag right here. I might need to add some more glue just to hold it together so that it doesn't unfold on me. Okay, just like that. And then I will use some of the stamps that I have. Let's say I'll use this stamp right here. It has lots of numbers, and I will use this. Okay, I have a signature right here that might fit the size of the tab that I have prepared. Wonderful. Now we can glue this tag together and stitch around the edges. Do we want to have the stamping in the back of the tab? Maybe, since we already have the stamp out. I'm going now to add the glue and stitch around the edges of this tag. And now it is also ready to go into its pocket. Right there. Let's see what we still need to do on this side. You might hear my cat meowing. She wants some attention because the door to my room has been closed, and she usually spends her day with me when I'm home. By the way, this card also needs to be added in here, according to my plan at least. Oh, by the way, we need to add the slides to this pocket here. So this is when we are going to use two of our slides that look like this and two of the butterflies. So one slide I have already cut out the middle, so I'm going to show you how to do it on the example of the remaining slide. You're going to fold it in half and distress the edges, of course. Then you're going to use your ruler and a knife for cutting out the window here. I think I'm not even going to use the ruler since the lines are not that long. So I'm just going to cut through both of the layers of paper. Okay, let's make sure that we have cut through both of them. And then I think it will be easier to use your sharp scissors with some nice thin tips and cut the corners out, rounding them up like so. Okay, and the same thing here. So this is the opening that we have. Let's correct it a little bit on this side because it's just a tiny bit wonky. Okay, like that. Now I'm of course going to distress the edges of the opening. We have the butterflies that we're going to place inside the slides. First of all, you are also going to fold each one of the pieces in half, like that, and glue them together. And once the glue is dry, you're going to cut the butterflies out, and you will have the same image in the back. Then we can use any date stamps or number stamps on the slides. Let's assemble these. Okay, here are both of our slides. We can now maybe add the eyelets to both of them. Now I will take a piece of string, and Misty here is very much interested in the string. Misty, please. Gosh, no, this will not work, Misty. We cannot do it like that. Misty, Misty, no. Okay, so I am going to add both of the slides onto the string, and I will tie a knot right here, and then tie another one a little bit higher, and I will cut the excess of the string, and both of these slides will be added to the pocket here. Okay, we can turn them whichever side we like more. I think like that could work good, right, Misty? Right, Poof? Come here, come, show your pretty face. Let's see what we have to do on this page. I think this will be the last tag that we need to finish. First of all, let's find the elements that we need for it. You are going to have the frame that I planned to attach to the tag with the brads, and I have already glued a piece of acetate to this frame. So we're going to glue the frame down on top of the existing one, and then I'm going to take 2 brads and poke 2 holes in the frame. I think here is good. So here and here. But I think before we actually add the brads, let's stitch around the frame first before we add the brads. That will be easier. I stitched the label down now to the part of the tag while it is still unfolded. Now I can add the brads to those holes that I poked before. Now let's see, I want to add, okay, first of all, let's punch the hole like that and add our hole reinforcers. Okay, so this is how the tag looks like on this side. Now let's take care of the reverse side too. And this is how our reverse side will look like. Okay, so we have all of the elements that we're going to need And I'm just going to glue them down to the tag now. So here it is. You could stamp another something on the label and maybe add another label from the leftovers. I'm sure you will have many of those from the kit to this corner. Let's glue the tag together now and stitch around its edges. This is my tag, and I'm going to place it inside the pocket. Now remember the letters. We had the I here, and we can continue placing a few more labels with the letters to keep our order going. When there were less and less elements being left, I realized that I forgot to add this frame to one of the tags. So I'm going to show you now what to do with it. We are going to need one more piece of acetate for it. And since we have this shaped opening on the frame, we are going to create a piece of acetate in the way that I have previously explained to you about with the Sharpie thing. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, and as a matter of fact, I'm working while standing, so my lines are not very precise since I'm far away from the desk. Okay, so let's cut it out and glue this frame down. We have that tiny slide. I need to find it. Here it is. So I'm going to cut one of the slides for my tag, and I will need, of course, to cut out the image which is in the center of it, or if you want to use it like that, you can also do it. But if you want to have that flower showing in the slide, you will of course need to cut out the butterfly first. And of course you can also leave those elements for some other tags that you have left. You can make more tags of the smaller size and add them to this album, or have a go with them for another project. I think that this pretty much finishes our tutorial. What's left is to add some eyelets to these tabs, but I will do it later. There are some labels that you can fold and create charms, add them to the tabbed pages here. You can also use those for adding them to the smaller size tags that you still have in the kit. All of these tags here. You can create more charms from the elements that are left. And what else I didn't mention? Let's have a look at these ones. Yeah, there are more elements to play with right here. Some of the elements are of the same size in which they were used on the pages of these or those cards and tags. Some are smaller, but you can always use the same size elements for adding more dimension to your pages, or use them on other cards and tags. That's also an option. In any case, I hope you had fun working on the project. I want to thank to everyone who has purchased the kit so far. It really makes me happy because this is one of my largest kits so far, and it took me some time to to complete it and advertise it. I am really happy to know that not only I enjoyed working with it, but also you guys out there have fun playing with the printables. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.